As you say, this is actually the beginning of a project from ground up. And I think the past 1 week, every day we've been having a specific project starting off. So far, this is the last of 5. So we have 5 projects that have started, and each one of them have different uh, number of participants. I think NLP has the biggest number of participants, followed by demand forecasting, or either demand forecasting has the biggest, and then um, uh, image processing and product review has more or less the same number. I think around 4 guys. Yeah. So when you look at this number, I think that is the expected number, especially when the project might not be so, not so many people might be interested, but for as long as a project has even 1 person, me, I have no problem. I could run a session with even a single person. The idea is for that person to walk into this class having little or no understanding of the project. By the time they finish the project, they can actually explain the entire process and actually do it and deliver a project at the end of the goal. So that is the main objective. And as you say, Chris, we are going to start from scratch. So if you are done foundations before, it's going to work for you. If you did a while back and you're more advanced in this, you could really contribute well in the class. Based on your knowledge, you could advise and help other people. We will create a chat group where the same discussion can go on, and with your experience, if you're at an advanced level, you can actually support others, and we deliver this project as a class. So similar to the previous projects, let me tell you the difference with this learning path. So the first day, like today, not so much will be happening, but what we will do, we are going to go through what we expect to learn and look at it, look at what needs to be learned, like the roadmap, all the way to the last day, what is expected of each of us, and how it's going to be in terms of the sessions, together with off sessions work, because after today, there will be work that needs to be done by each one of us in every group. So as a member of a group, there will be work that needs to be done during the week, and then that work needs to be submitted before the next session. So that work is to prepare you for the next session, so that the next session we are at the same level, no one is left behind. So if you the easiest way to lag behind is just not to complete the work that you're supposed to be doing during the week. So that is the difference between this approach and the previous approach, where we ran classes, and each weekend had its own topic and subject, and it was more general. While we were doing notebooks, we were doing theory. It was more general, and we were not specific to the problem we're solving. So we covered things like EDA separately. We covered things like pre-processing and data cleaning separately, but we didn't have a solid goal, and like we have in this one. So that is what differentiates these classes moving forward as compared to the previous classes. At the end of this class, we must have a tangible project accessible by users. So users will be out there, and each one of us need to be able to understand and articulate what it means to deliver such a project, and you can actually go ahead and deliver now a project by yourself. All right. Okay, that's fine. If you can give feedback via chat, I'll send to Caroline because of I assume you have sound issues on your side. So I'll be reaching out to you guys to give feedback. So what you're looking at, could someone confirm if they can see my screen? I've just projected a slide. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. So what you're looking at right now is what we plan to cover, and we have this problem is a time series problem. So what we will do, we will learn what time series is. We will learn what time series is and how to create a time series, visualize it, yeah, and then get to understand what we mean by trend, seasonality, and access to certain terms in relation to a time series problem. What are some of the assumptions of any forecasting model? How do we split or break down or unpack a time series problem? How to identify how to identify autocorrelation, and what those are, what they mean. ADF, augmented decay-fully test. What does that mean, and of what importance? What are some of the other test cases that we will encounter? Uh, Smoothing within time series. What does this mean? What are some of the techniques for smoothing? So there are quite a lot of terminologies with time series. Quite a lot, I can tell you for sure. And we are going to cover each one of them and try and understand um, what each one of these mean. And we'll also do in how many ways can we model a time series problem. So there are some ways like ARIMA, we have SARIMA, we have Holt Watson. We will Holt Winters. Sorry. We will cover each of them and actually have a notebook that we are going to write and understand how each of these are modeled. Yeah. How to convert a multiplicative time series into an additive time series. What are those and how to do them? Transformations. We will extract the trend, seasonality, and random terms. We will use the standard regression methods to forecast, something like a simple linear regression. We have I think around 3 regression methods that we will cover. What is differencing and how does it come into play within a time series problem, and how do we what are some of the metrics of time series? Okay, so those are some of the things that we're going to be looking at, and applications of the model that we build. So at the end of this exercise, or rather at the end of this period, we are going to build a model that we will expose for people to use through either a website or a mobile app. And based on that model, it's going to be known outside there, and each person who's participating in this class, the model is going to be attributed to each one of them in terms of what they did and the class that they attended. So the plan is, in my group there is a bigger group, a bigger meetup that at the end of all these presentations, I'll invite people within the group as well as outside the group to come and comment or see and experience the projects that have come to fruition out of the classes, and not only see on Jupyter Notebook, but also listen to the people who have built it, as well as experience the system. So they will either access it from the website or the mobile app. This is an ambitious thing, but I believe it is achievable, and the, the, the honors will not be to me, but the honors will be to the students. So if you really want to show what you're capable of in terms of what you've learned and what you want to, for whatever reason, you want any other person to know what you're capable of doing within 3 months, then this is your best shot. Focus on a single project and take it, ensure you drive with it, you go with it to the end and articulate it. You never know who will be in that demo day, and you never know where this would lead you out. If in case by any chance uh, uh, that day comes, the worst thing that can happen is you'll have learned time series problem and you will be able to articulate and solve those problems. Okay, so that is the approach I'm taking with all the projects. I've said we have four other projects that have already started. With the biggest number, I think it's either in demand forecasting or NLP. I'm not so sure, but those two, there was a huge subscription. And the next two is image processing and product reviews. I think on average we have like 5 people in each of those projects, product reviews. And then finally this one, which is sales forecasting. Demand forecasting and sales forecasting are just, both of them are time series problems. So anyone in demand forecasting would be able to sit into this class, and sales forecasting, you can actually sit into the demand class. But I propose that you focus on the problem, because the week after every session is going to be intense. You're going to be required to do a couple of stuff at your own free time, and I'll come up with specific tasks that ensure that everyone participate, or rather everyone is given equal chance to participate. So it will be up to you to participate or not, because I know some people are so tied up in whatever they do during the day. But I would want to put it this way: for as long as you want to see results out of this exercise, whatever you do during the day is just as important as this one, because this is time boxed to 3 months. So after 3 months, who knows, we might never have such an opportunity to do this. Maybe that would be the end of it, and people will move on. And I guess maybe after 3 months, this could just be the differentiating factor. Either you get a new position, or you move to a new section where you can put impact, and impact will implement what you've learned, or even get a job if you don't have a job, or even be self-employed if you're interested to. So I would really encourage each one to take this as seriously as whatever they do during the day, and commit to see this to the end. Okay, so what you normally do, as I had mentioned, the first day is just brainstorming session, and the first part of that brainstorming session is to walk you through the roadmap, which I've already done, and highlight to you some of the content that we are going to be covering, which I've already done, and highlight what is expected of you, which I've also done. Faris is asking how many are we here. Excluding myself, we are 4. So including myself, we are 5. Faris, we are good? So it's more or less the same number of image processing as well as demand forecasting. So smaller groups are better because you can actually contribute, feel at home, and you have a chance to be heard, your opinion, all right? Faris, did you have anything in mind? Does that answer your question? Faris? Okay, perfect. All right. All right. So unless you are having a sound problem on your side, I would encourage that you use the mic. But if you're having sound problems, participation via chat is equally better. Okay. Now the second part of this session, it's
Okay.
going to be yes, Faris.
Okay, I've joined a bit late. I was to ask if somebody can use this project after we finished in your portfolio,
Uh-huh.
or maybe you can include it now and say I'm working on a forecasting project.
Okay. You're asking if you can include it in your portfolio or after. Just repeat the question.
Okay, I'm asking if I can include it in my portfolio right now, saying
Mm,
that this is the project that I'm currently working on,
mm,
and if I can also include it after we finished.
yeah. Absolutely. You can go ahead and do it now. What I'll be doing is for every session, and I've already started doing it with NLP because NLP is going to have their second class tomorrow, meaning their first assignment they've already submitted, and we are starting to do code as from tomorrow. So the first day for NLP was covered. So with them, they are just going to be, if you want to know what's happening with other groups, you can follow my GitHub account and my YouTube account. I'll be publishing what each and every group is doing, where they are at, and I'll be mentioning names and giving links to the students. So if you have a LinkedIn profile, if you have a GitHub profile, I'll be attaching them on that notebook. So you could mention the same thing, what you're doing, and at the end of the day, if there is anyone who's interested in auditing or even asking questions about any particular person during this period, then they are free because all that you're doing is going to be recorded, and at the end of 3 months, anyone who wishes to get a report we'll definitely get a report of what we've been busy with the past 3 months. So please go ahead, include it, and I will also support you with that. I'll make sure that your LinkedIn and GitHub account, your progress is also updated in the main GitHub account as we build it, and your participation will also be documented. So that is the approach I'm going to use for the next 3 months, and you can go ahead and mention it. Not a problem. Eventually, we are going to, I will also take it upon myself that at the end of the session, should the project be successful, uh, according to what all of us in this class expect, I will write an article and mention and articulate the skills of every individual and post it on my wall in LinkedIn as well as GitHub. So your participation and contribution is very, very important. And it's going to be intense. It's going to be very, very intense. When I talk about 3 months, you might think that it's long. And this is what I keep telling the other guys as well when we started. You might think that 3 months is long, but remember the sessions we have is once a week. And then during the week, you're given specific tasks to do, and you have a WhatsApp group to consult your colleagues, and you have resources and links that actually guide you. Unlike when you're studying alone, when you have a lot of content, so it is up to you to use the links and the networks to make sure that you understand and the connections to make sure you understand and get answers as we move forward. Yeah. So that is going to be the approach. Okay. All right. Now, the first session, it's normally more of me discussing and telling you guys how we will be driving this agenda moving forward. But the second session is all of us, we need to participate. And the main reason is the second session, I'll start us off with what forecasting is, and we will brainstorm our own understanding of what forecasting is. And we will try and mention some examples. And then each one of us would propose a forecasting problem they believe we should solve as a class. And then they will also get a chance to explain why they feel that should be the forecasting problem. And and then we will vote on all those ideas. So I can see we are 5, so each one of us will vote. The vote that has the highest number of votes would carry the day. However, if someone has a different opinion, he is free or she is free to interject and defend his or her case. So it needs to be a very, very open and genuine discussion. Hakuna haraka kwa hii class. We have to be very, very objective. And some of the things that needs to guide us as we become objective. Number one, whatever we are forecasting must be solving a problem. Yeah. So it needs to be a problem that we are solving, and a real problem that we are solving outside there, and it has potential users outside there. Yeah. And the number of users, if we want to have real impact, whatever we are solving, I was of the opinion that the number of users should be mass, so many people use it, and acquisition of this data should be easy. I know when you're doing machine learning problems and data science questions, access to data is normally a problem. So the problem that we are trying to solve, we need to be able to easily access that data or create that data, and so that we have everything we need to get started and learn. So we don't want a project that it will take us 3 or 4 days to access the data. We just want a problem that, should we agree, the next day we have the data, everyone is consolidated. By the next class, we have everything it takes to start playing with Jupyter notebooks. Yeah, and then besides availability of the data, besides the problem being solved and the problem being faced by a lot of people, the problem that we select, or rather the project that we select, needs to be measurable in terms of at the end of it all, we need to be able to articulate that this is the most likely impact of what our model is, of what the model that we have built would give. Because these are some of the things that we will be articulating during the demo day. And one last thing about the demo day, I won't be the one talking. It's going to be a representation from you guys. It's 1, 2, or even all of you. And with this corona manenos, it's going to be digital. So the likelihood of so many people attending and getting questions is high. So that would be the way the demo day would go through. And it's my prayer that we stick to the end and build something that we are all going to demo and be proud of. That after the demo day, should I decide that I'm not running any more of these classes, you will just say thank you and move on. Yeah. So that is by and large the plan for the next 3 months. And I would jump straight into the second session. Normally we have a break between the first and the second session. But I think at some point there, I'll create a break for 5 or 10 minutes, just before we vote. Before we go, we could then start brainstorming. So let me start by trying to explain my understanding of forecasting, and then I'll give each and every one of you to explain their understanding of forecasting. It doesn't matter, you can repeat or echo what someone says if you agree with them, but it is important that you rephrase into your own words your own understanding of the word forecasting and forecasting project by extension. So my understanding of forecasting is it's just like foresight, or the ability to tell the future. I call them magicians, but in this case you're not magicians. Wengine wanaitwa wachawi ama witch doctors. But us guys, if we have to be called witch doctors, then we are witch doctors playing around with data, not hizi calabash na hizi mawe na mamfupa. Yeah, so these people somehow they believe they can tell you about your future. So what you need to do is to give them a goat or a cow or some blood and tell you a few things, and then they'll tell you this is the kind of thing you need to do, especially our politicians. But that is not what we are learning today. Forecasting is the ability to see the future, basically, or to predict with some level of accuracy the future in whatever it is that you're observing. So if it is let me say, the stocks of a certain company, if it is the spending patterns of a certain group of teenagers, you, even your own financial needs, you might be, I've been spending money as a student, and I would like to know how much will I most likely need, especially now that we have data bundles and stuff. Yeah. So that is my understanding of forecasting, and I would go to Chris. Chris would go ahead and explain his own understanding. Chris?
Yes, I'm here, Ayub, unmuting Manenos. I would more or less say the same thing. Like, I will not go through the, like we create, we are facing an issue right now. And we want to know, for example, a problem. We have a problem right now, and we want to know how long will this persist. So you are trying to predict the future of a certain outcome. Or you have a variable, but you're trying to predict the future of that variable. Or you have something you want to scale it out. You want to scale it out. So you want to know what will be the impact of scaling it. So you're trying to kind of predict the future of a certain problem, or a certain, let me just call it a variable, because it is not necessarily all, it is not necessarily a problem, but at least you're using a historical data to get a future outcome. Actually, that is it. You're using historical data to get a future outcome.
So awesome.
That's what I understand.
Okay, great stuff. Danson, what's your understanding?
Oh, hi guys. Hi, how are you?
Hi, good.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good also. So my understanding of forecasting is like you're predicting the events before they come to happen. Of course, using previous data, and of course, applying some tools. So I guess that is all I understand about forecasting. So I'm just trying to think about the best project to do in here. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Danson.
Thank you. I'm done.
Good stuff. Good stuff, Danson. Faris?
Okay, forecasting to me.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Naweza ongea na Kiswahili.
Sema bana. Fungua roho.
Forecasting ni kama matarajio yako kwa kitu yatakuwaje muda ujao.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's I think more or less we are all on the same page. We have one of us. Did we lose her? I think two of the ladies have dropped out. We had Caroline and Eve. I think we've lost them, but my hope is that they will come back. All right. So I think we are all in agreement what forecasting is. But there is an element that is very, very important. We are using historical data, trying to learn learn some patterns from historical data, and then we use these patterns to make a prediction. If everything was to be normal, or even considering all the different possibilities that has been observed in the past. So you might see that you're tracking the sales or the profits of a business. Now, unfortunately, I want to pick tasks as a case study in this one. I understand they're going through a lot of financial issues. So if 2 years ago, they bothered to do some forecasting in terms of either sales or operations, or even staff attrition, or even customer complaints, or even spending patterns and shopping patterns of their customers, they would have an idea of how to handle the sales that actually are plummeting across all industries right now. Those people who had foresight of such an incident are more likely to have better mitigation in place. Yeah. So the idea is to, okay, of course, COVID has never happened. The last time something like this, pandemic like this happened, none of us had been born. That's my assumption. If you are born then you have the floor, you can tell us how it was. My assumption is something like this, there is nowhere we can see it in the past. So there is no data that shows or explains what could have happened. But if we look at something similar, if the spending of a customer is affected, it is either due to lack of employment, or they got fired. Right now, it's the pandemic. We are spending more time in the house than we are outside there. So the question is, were we spending money we didn't have, or were we just spending because we are walking around? Why is it that supermarkets are being very, like a supermarket like Taskin is being impacted in such huge way? Doesn't mean people are buying when they really don't need. Because if you need something, you will definitely continue buying. It doesn't mean that this pandemic has made so many people not able to buy what they used to buy because either they've lost their jobs. So there's a lot to learn. And forecasting is just one way. So that is one thing that I wanted to bring out. And you guys have also mentioned it. You use historical data to make that prediction. So there is so much as having the mind of a data scientist and a machine learning engineer, you could think of the various possibilities of the kind of problems you can be solving and how you can be helpful to institutions or even companies like Daskis and any other company that is facing this problem. All right. I can see Silas has just come in. Silas.
Hi, sorry. I had some issues.
No, not a problem. No, not a problem. Not a problem. So I hope you're following.
Yeah, I'm following.
All right. So what we are doing is we are just brainstorming. Today's session is not going to be as expansive as the upcoming one because of today's session is just more of intro to what we will be doing in the coming class days and even in the coming weeks. And we are also going to pick a project at the end of this today's session. Our take home should be a project that we are going to adopt as a team and focus on that project for the next 3 months with very specific achievable milestones. And I'll be the one who's coordinating and tracking what we achieve in every class, in every week to the end. All this information will be available to anyone who needs it. And the work of each and every person in this class will be visible in the notebook that I upload on GitHub. And if you give me your LinkedIn and GitHub account, I'll definitely mention so that anyone coming access or getting through to to that notebook, they can actually follow through. They can follow through to your profile and maybe reach out to you and engage you in solving a similar problem. So that is what we've covered so far. And we've also understood what forecasting is. That is where you found us, where we were just brainstorming our own understanding of what forecasting is. And that is where now I want you to just spend a few minutes, tell us what your own understanding is or with regards to forecasting. So Silas, that background was for your sake. So it's over to you.
No problem, no problem. Over to me. Ngumu.
Sasa ni wewe ufungue roho. Kila mtu ashafungua roho. I can see Eve is trying to join us. She probably is having problems, but I know she will be able to. Unaweza endelea.
Let me use an analogy. Yeah?
Okay.
Let me ask first of all, who knows how to swim?
Who knows?
How to swim?
How to spin?
Swim.
Oh, swim.
Walk.
Okay. Okay, definitely not me. That's a story for another day. I have no idea how to swim.
Of the participants.
The other people, yeah, the other people. Faris.
Interesting. We thought it comes as a skill for everybody who comes from where you come from to swim. But
Default.
and I don't know how to swim.
Yeah, tuko wengi. Faris, unajua kuswim?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so and Eve
kuna issues na mic yake. Eve kuna issues na mic yake.
When you swim in still water, it's already difficult, right?
Yeah.
Which is what I can refer to as stationarity. Yeah. Now, if you go into the sea, there are waves. Yeah. So the waves at times push you forward and backwards. Yeah. So there are times you're moving forward and you're moving backwards. Yeah. So let's say I've not got to stationarity, which is where you want to get to in the sea. And I'm trying to wrap my head around things like, okay, fair enough, I understand box plots and everything, yeah? And scatter plots and using scatter plots, heat maps and everything to try and assess whether there's some series being involved or, but that's where I am at the moment. And that's why I was asking the question. Remember in the group I was asking, how is it that you're able to tell when and when not, yeah? What are the situations? Because if I think it was a primary requirement of either knowing whether it is or not, yeah? Then now you can start going into the assessment of time series. So that's where I was. I don't know why I mixed my days up. I don't know. I thought this was supposed to be a Thursday class. So I was reading today.
Oh, okay. But you know, this we've not even started the class. This is just a basic brainstorming session where we just say our own understanding of forecasting in our own language.
Yeah, I'm just trying to also get the what do you call it, the standardization as well, that we look at it using the Dicker-Fuller tests and the, I don't know what you called it. It's okay. Eve ametoka, kwa hivyo naweza sema it's called the BJ modeling.
Okay.
At least unaweza sema nimeangalia kitu.
Bado hata hatujafika huko. Sahi, what we are doing is just a basic understanding of what forecasting is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the concept. So anyway, for me, the thing is that I'll tell it to everybody that I'm looking at it for more on from forecasting perspective of weather still. Remember, I'd shown that I'd wanted to show in terms of agriculture as one of my options, even though we're going to be doing demand forecasting for shopping. Yeah. So, yeah, I can see it being applied in very many places.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I don't know whether I helped or have
I got a bit lost there because where we are at, because maybe you're ahead of us. Where we are at right now is we just want your own understanding of what you mean, what you understand by the word forecasting. What does it mean?
Okay.
And
it's predicting the future and with a lot of with a lot of data that's in seasons or in a series or something like that.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So I think we are all in sync with exactly the definition of forecasting or our understanding. I think it's by and large the same understanding. Eve is back. I don't know, Eve, what we are doing is right now, what you're doing, I know you will play the recording and follow through the bits that you missed out. What we're doing right now is we are just using our own words to explain our understanding of the word forecasting and probably give an example of a most likely a forecasting project that you have in mind. So I don't know if you can either type that or now you are able to join in via mic so that we move forward without losing you. So as Eve types, then we could proceed as she types her understanding of forecasting. Now it takes us now to the second phase where each one of us again will now just, based on their understanding, each one of us would now make a proposal of the kind of project that we need to adopt as a class, yeah? And this project, like I said, the project should be solving a specific problem. And then the project should be one that is low-hanging in terms of us guys getting access to the data. We shouldn't pick a project that either creating that data or getting access to that data is difficult. And then finally, the project should be one that is realistically achievable in 3 months, depending on complexity, considering that we are doing this to learn. And if we identify a project that might be complex, and with that, I would probably give guidance. We might want to split it into 2 or even 3 phases, but with the first deliverable being by exactly, I think 3 months from now, around September, we should be churning out a production project. Okay, so I'll start with Silas again. So I'll do Silas, Chris, Eve, and then Faris. Each one of us will just give an idea of the kind of project you want to solve, and then try and elaborate further on that project. And then I'll take note of that project. And the last session would be now where we pick and defend and vote for that project. Once we identify our project, then we call it a day for today. And I'll share the resources and move forward, identify tasks that we need to achieve before the next class. So from the next class, we start getting our hands dirty. So Silas, over to you.
Yeah. Okay. So I personally want to see if I can be able to either forecast rain or soil moisture or something like that in the future. Why I think that's important, it's to possibly give guys who are farming some prediction of when to water their plants.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can plan for water. So what happens is that I know there's a lot of climatic change that's happening, but what if we bring technology to this space and not wait for things to happen? I know the ideal nirvana scenario would be a notification that please water these plants at this time and this time and this time. Get your water ready from wherever source it is, and you'll be able to meet your production needs. Yeah. But if we're at one stage, somebody can get to a certain level where they can go to a farm and say, this section requires water, that section requires water. It can even help people with their planning for costings and everything, opposed to just losing crops and stuff. I think in the future it may help.
All right.
And it also gives them a lead time to find water sources.
All right. Perfect. Anyone with a question for Silas or seek for clarity?
I barely heard what he was saying. He was on and off, but I think he talked about having a model for like crop model. I don't know. Okay, anyway, I didn't get it correctly, but I will be playing the recording. Maybe I try to follow up what he is saying. Is he saying that we should be able to predict that a certain fallow within a field requires water, or what is the date we should water it or something? I didn't get it, to be sincere.
Actually, I think you got it. Silas, you can correct me if I'm wrong. What Silas is proposing is the ability to predict soil or rain moisture on the farm, so that the farmers can actually manage their water better. So knowing when to water or knowing when not to water, because maybe let me say next week the prediction is your farm is good, don't worry, that is the prediction. So if you don't have water around, then don't worry. But if the prediction is next week, tafuta maji, if you're far away from water, then you can get your donkeys and go fetch that water. Ideally, I see this problem very applicable. At some point, I did farming in Kajiado, some areas, but fortunately for me, near that farm, there was a borehole. But you can imagine someone doing farming where there is no borehole, and they need to know, okay, when should I have this water, or the water that I have is very little. How do I then water my crops? So the normal practice would be, let me water every evening. But maybe that evening you're watering, the moisture is actually enough. You don't need to water. So you're basically, what you're doing, you're wasting your water. Silas, is that the case?
Yes, those are the cases. Even there's also the converse case where the guys who grow tomatoes, they overwater. They overwater the plants.
Okay,
right?
perfect.
So
the problem we are trying to resolve is very real. I like that, because also maybe the water is a scarce resource, we must agree. So you don't want to water where you don't need it. And of course, there are some diseases. For example, you're saying in tomatoes and potatoes, which will come through overwatering, things like rotting and bright. But my interest, what I said I didn't get very well, is where are we going to get that data? Do we have the type of the soil and then check how long it stays, the amount of water in millimeters watered, the depth, Okay,
So,
I'm just thinking what kind of a data would we use
So,
to solve that problem?
Absolutely,
So
Chris. And Silas, as you think through the answer to Chris, just try and articulate it. Let's go and listen to, because that's a question for you from Chris. You will need to answer it. So let's pick someone else and who has an idea. We go one round, and then in the next round now is for anyone who had been asked a question can answer. Okay, Silas, does that work?
so
Okay, perfect. All right, Chris, it's you now. What project do you have in mind, and what is it that we can do as your proposal? What are some of the impact, and try and justify your proposal the way Silas did his, for everyone to understand.
Honestly, I don't have a project of my own. I thought about what you wrote on the article, and I was thinking what we can have. It was about online forecasting, online sales.
Okay.
So for us to so I was thinking about maybe getting to know what is the reach in that when I post my sale online, how many people am I reaching, and what is their age, and how can I be able to conjure my sales towards that demographic. That is what I was thinking. So not really particular. I just picked that from you today.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. I can see Ibrahim. Anyone with a response to what Chris has mentioned, or it's clear? Silas,
yeah.
Fares, you have any question for Chris?
No, I don't have.
All right. Ibrahim, just I noticed you joined a bit late. So just to put to get you all up to speed, what you're doing right now is we are exploring some forecasting ideas and projects that are viable. And at the end of this exercise, our objective of today's class is to come up with one project that we are all going to adopt and use it as the best way we are going to learn moving forward. And what you're learning is going to be sales forecasting and basically forecasting in general. And I'll mention the difference between sales forecasting and demand forecasting maybe after all the discussion. So sorry to take you straight to the deep end, but I think it's your turn now. Or while you think about it, let me allow Faris to just share his thoughts. Faris, over to you.
Okay, as for me, since I'm much of a forex trader, I was thinking of something that can forecast prices. Like sometimes we usually predict the price will go down, and something happens. So I was thinking if I can create something that can forecast. If this happens, the price will go up or the price will go down. If the dollar surges, Africa will able to experience this. Okay,
just go
that's
on.
what I'm.
Faris, just go on.
Okay, mostly it's about the stock market and the forex market. So I'm thinking of something if we can be able to predict the price and okay, like something like cryptocurrencies. Most guys are speculating Bitcoin will be one Bitcoin will be $1 million in the next 5 years, but they are not even sure how they are able to forecast that thing. But now I want to create something that can be able to forecast, because even if you ask them what have they used to predict, they're just telling it's just out of speculation. So I want to create something that will deal with will come up from data sets, how it will influence how people will buy and sell Bitcoin, and something like that.
Okay, perfect, Faris. That is another viable project. Anyone with a specific questions to Faris? Okay, mimi nitakuuliza Fares. Mimi niko na swali, but you don't have to answer now. When you're doing the iteration for answering questions, you'll get a chance to answer it. My question will then be, what is the anticipated value or problem that you want us to solve, or the value that we will be bringing up to our possible customers? In this sense, do we have existing tools that are doing that, or do we have users using other systems? And is it going to be difficult for our solution to be adopted? Just give it some thought, and in the next round, please share your thoughts about it. I think that's you got the question, Fares?
Yes, I got the question.
Okay, perfect. So before we get to the answer session, Ibrahim, are you ready to contribute?
I can try. I mean, I can add on what Faris has been saying.
Okay.
So, but I would say I would be thinking much more on the stocks side rather than the currencies. So I would say a project on just trying to use the time series modeling to predict the stock prices, maybe for the internationals like the US market and maybe for the Kenyan market. So I think for that the problem would be it would not be necessarily a solution for a corporate kind of thing, rather than for I mean for personal use, I guess, because investment is something that I think it's kind of personal. So I think if we would be building something on trying to predict stock prices, it would be a product for maybe personal use or something like that. I don't know, maybe like develop it into something like an app that a user can just go ahead and get the data for the prices, maybe yesterday, maybe for a couple of months, and then maybe using a couple of models can tell the user we are predicting the stock price to be this and this. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, Ibrahim. Anyone with a questions to Ibrahim regarding the idea he has? All right. So the question I had for you, Ibrahim, you've responded to it. It's going to be a personal app where people are advised on investments, personal decision. Okay. All right. So while before we get to the answer session, two people need to provide answers. I want you guys to think through all those possible projects and dissect them. Like, be honest with yourself and be the judge. If you're sitting on the other side and someone wanted you to give them 100,000 shillings to execute that project, would you go and do it? And what are some of the questions or answers or you'd want to listen to? And what would make you not go for it? Yeah. So each of these proposals, according to me, they are viable and they can be done. The decision of picking one as compared to the other rests on what is expected at the end. So that's why I'm asking each one of you guys to be the judge. If say Faris came to you and told you I need 100,000 shillings and this is the project I want to do, would you go ahead and give Faris 100,000 or would you not? And what would be the reason for you not to? So that is the kind of thing I want you guys to think through before we get to the answer session. And two people need to give us answers. That is Faris and Silas. Silas responds to Christopher's question. And then Faris will respond to my question. Before we get to that session, I need, because I'm part of the team, I also need to be exposed to through the same process where you guys have to ask questions. And validate whether the project idea I have in mind makes sense to you guys or not. So what I have in mind is trying to build a solution that enables and empowers even the low-level guys to be able to work smart in terms of predicting whatever it is that they do. So the reason why I put Facebook, a lot of people before Corona used to sell stuff through Facebook, where you have a Facebook page where you're going to the office. You can either do deliveries or you employ someone to do delivery on your behalf. So this skill of knowing when to have what. So if you're selling clothes and you have men's shoes and you have men's shoes and men's shirts, boy shoes, boy shirts, toys, clothes, you have a variety. When do you know, okay, it's a skill where based on experience, you know, okay, at this time, I need only kids' shoes and I need this size, this particular size, that will move. So can we empower those guys venturing into this to supplement their skills in such a way that they are told, based on your performance in the historical performance, yeah? Next week, don't bother to bring size 6. Just stock size 8 or size 12. They are more likely to move faster, regardless of what is being sold. So this advisory is to anyone in selling through Facebook. And the idea that I'm proposing is not only Facebook, but even the local. I just use Facebook as an example. These briefcase companies, single man, single woman companies, they have a lot of challenges, and some of these tools would be necessary for them. So I was thinking on the lines of what Ibrahim had mentioned, where the model at the end of the day is deployed through either an app or a web, where they are able to record their sales or upload their historical sales. And as they transact, they have, the moment you upload your sales for the past, say, 2 months, the model should be able to tell you how it will look like for the next 1 week, yeah? And tell you what to where to focus on. So that is what I had in mind. I'm looking at a mass market of Facebook sales, and I'm looking at the potential of implementing a forecasting model that would be interesting to showcase, because I think such a model doesn't exist. It will be the first, and whether or not it will be adopted, I'm not so sure, because some of the sales, some of the people selling on Facebook and these briefcase companies, I think, based on experience, they work on, if it works, you don't fix it. As in, for as long as it's working, I'm making money. So what is this thing you're telling me about CG Mambo apps, CG predictions, CG? So based on that alone, I'm not so sure if it will be adopted. But whether or not it's something that we can deliver and articulate, then I think it can be, should it be able to be adopted, then it can be of big impact. I leave it to you guys to decide as now the judges. That is the idea that I had. And I'm going to welcome, if anyone has a question, or should we just go to Silas to respond to Christopher? All right. Okay, Silas, I think over to you.
Actually, I'm privy, how should I say, I have some data that that is there, but around soil moisture. So time series data, time-stamped data that has soil moisture and stuff. So I'm trying to use that as data to help me predict how moisture will be in the future.
Okay. Chris, You got your answer?
Yeah, I got the answer. I'll be following that very, very closely.
All right. Okay. Faris, over to you now. You answer.
Okay. You asked like 4 questions in one.
Combine.
Yeah. So kindly, can you repeat the question? Then I answer one every bit.
All right. The question I had was for you to be able to, one, of what value would our model be giving to the end users? And then two, do we have similar solutions outside there that can our target users can use? And then three, what would make the other users start using our solution as compared to the existing solutions? So I'll stick to those three for now.
Okay, the value to end users. Hello.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me start with similar solutions that exist.
Okay.
One similar solution that exists is an application called Robinhood, and Robinhood is not available in Africa and some part of Asian countries. What difference it will have with the product on the current market? Okay, as I've been using Robinhood, I've been integrating VPN and other things in able to use it. Robinhood, like 80% of their forecasting is short term, but I want to be able to make my forecasting a bit long term, because even the long term solutions they offer, they're usually out of speculation. Copy hizo lingine. Okay, the first one is Robinhood and the next one is eToro. eToro even is for short term. Now, mostly what I want to do is have long term solutions on the internet. I don't want to have short term solutions like for 2 months, 3 months. I want to have something like long term for 1 year, 2 years, like this. I want to be able to integrate data, like, okay, let's say like if okay, towards like the Americans are going to have an election, how will I be able to convince like the investors, like, if this and this happens, the USD will surge or the USD will go up? So I don't want like to say that the election is coming, let's hide our money, or let's put our money into other coffers. I'm able to show the investors this and this will happen from November to February, and from March we expect this to go on. So the value to end users will be long-term solutions that I will give them.
Okay. All right. So we have Rain, and I want you guys to take note of this because you're going to vote. Before we get there, we want to hear from Danson. Danson, I think we lost you at some point. Good to have you back. What you are going through right now is making proposal of the projects that we should adopt. So you make a proposal of the kind of time series problem we need to adopt, and then you try and justify it. If there is anyone with a question on, you respond. And then the next phase that you're going to right now is now where I list all the proposed projects, and each one of us needs to vote for any other apart from theirs. So you're not allowed to vote for yours. You need to pick, if it is not yours, then which other one should you vote for? But before we get to that point, Danson, please go ahead and tell us what you have in mind.
Unanisikia?
Nakusikia.
Oh, nina struggle na net kiasi lakini sawa. So about the project, I really don't have a clear project in mind as at now, but I guess because I'm doing some research, I can share in the group the one you're about to create. Ama hakuna group?
Itakuwa
Yes,
kila
and
class iko na
then,
group.
yeah, I guess. And if I'm also not really prepared for this session, but okay, I'm really trying to catch up. Yeah, and then I heard that you were asking about the value which the project maybe will do, which will add. I think I'm also not in a position to answer that because I don't have the project in mind.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess that's all I have for now, for today, and for now.
All right, not a problem, Danson. So
Yes,
I'm saying not a problem. For as long as that.
I can't get you.
Hello, can you get me now?
You're breaking. I guess my internet is.
How about now?
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
Hey.
Is anyone? Faris, Chris, could you confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, I
can
can
hear you.
Okay, perfect. Danson, can you hear me? I think Danson has the issue. I can hear him, but he can't hear us. All right. I guess at the right time he will play the recording and follow through for the points that he had missed out. And he has mentioned that there is something he's going to share with us in the group that we will create. So we can continue the discussion in the group, but at the end of this session, the discussion in the group will be inclined to the project that we all agree or during this session. So the moment we pick a project right now, I would be so reluctant to change. So we will adopt it to the end. So when you're picking a project, be cognizant that this is what we will get stuck with for the next 3 months. And once in the group, we will have to learn time series. And the beauty of this is time series is time series. So even if you change mind of project, learning time series, the way you implement it, you can apply it to any other data set. It's a very, very straightforward problem to solve. It only gets complex when you're looking at multiple variables. But then again, that is also something else we can learn in class, when we'll be covering univariate and multivariate time series. So the next stage is where we vote, and we have so far 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope I've not missed out. We didn't get feedback from Eve because he dropped out, and then Danson, he's been on and off, so he's not in a position to really contribute as much. But I believe whatever project we pick, he will be in support for the same. So we have 4 projects, and I want each one of you guys to pick one, and you pick one, and that one should not be the one that you proposed. So the first project is rain and moisture prediction. Soil moisture prediction. Let me call it that. Soil moisture prediction. So what you're predicting is, how will the soil moisture look like in the next couple of days, in the next couple of weeks, in the next couple of months? How will the soil moisture look like, given that this is how it has been the past, say, couple of months, and we've been told that that data is available. So that is the first project. So that is project number 1. So if you want to explore with that, you will reply in the chat with number 1. And then the second one is Forex trader. Yeah, proposal from Fares. So if you want us to focus on Forex trading, pick on Forex trader, number 2. And then number 3, stock trading. I don't know, I'm not in finance, and these 2 terms normally confuse me. For now, I think I'll just take it like they're 2 different things. 3 is stock trading. So if you're for stock trading, you pick number 3. And then number 4 is Facebook sellers sales forecasting. So we are targeting sales forecasting for sellers who are in Facebook. Okay. So if you're for number 1, just answer with number 1. If you're for number 2, answer with number 2. If you're for number 3, answer with number 3. And if you're for number 4, answer with number 4. Those are the 4 projects that we are proposing to be solved by this group. Okay, so you go in chat and post there what you think. Give it a shot. I've seen Lorna has joined. Lorna, karibu sana. So what we've been going through as the others post, let me just bring Lorna up to speed. Where we have reached is we have reached where we are picking the project that we will go through. We will use to learn sales forecasting for the next, say, 3 months. And the projects that have been proposed is soil moisture prediction. Like now we are predicting the moisture content for soil for a given period. And then the second one is Forex trading. The third one is stock trading. And the last one is sales prediction for Facebook sellers. So we want to facilitate Facebook sellers be able to get to understand their sales in the future. Yeah. So all those are the ideas that have been floated. Other things that we've covered the content that is ahead of us. It's actually still projected on the screen. This is what we will learn moving forward. And yeah, we've brainstormed, and other people have projects. So you've just come. These projects have just been proposed. We've not yet picked one. So we can if you have a project on your own, you could actually make a proposal and defend your case. And then if there's anyone with a question, they can ask you. That is one way. Another way is you could pick one of those 4, and then we do a voting, and then we adopt it as our class project, and then we use that to anchor all the learnings moving forward.
Question.
Yes, Lorna.
So what's the method of voting? So do I write side chat, or how does it?
Oh, okay. You just chat in the main group, not private. I want everyone to see.
Yeah, as in this Zoom meeting. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry, I just finished work right now.
I know. The office can be hectic.
I
understand completely.
Okay.
So Chris has also mentioned that he has a meeting out at 5. Chris, before you go, I hope you've made a vote. You've selected your project.
I have voted for the soil moisture for interest purposes. I have interest in it, and I also said if there is a tie, because I want to drop off right now. I have a meeting at 7:45. If there is a tie, I am okay with Facebook because that is what I had in mind. But I like that moisture thing.
For moisture,
agribusiness is key.
All right.
Sasa, you guys see you on Tuesday. Goodbye.
Bye. We'll add you to the group, and we will definitely continue exchanging in the group. Okay. So Lorna, you have an idea, or you'll vote one out of those 4?
I'll vote. Are they?
All right.
They're the ones that are on the Nini. So I guess I just have to remember the ones that you've mentioned, right?
Yeah, the 4. They are the 4. Rain, moisture content prediction, Forex prediction, stock prediction, and sales prediction for Facebook sellers.
Okay.
So everyone, I believe everyone has voted. So let us go through the voting and then we pick. So the first one was Chris was number 1, which is moisture. And then Danson, so Danson has picked 2. Danson, I've seen you've pasted twice. Which one is it?
Okay, okay. My choice was number 2, but I was saying in case they choose number 4, I'm also okay because it's a nice project also.
Oh, so your choice for primary choice is number 2, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And then we go to the next person. So number 1, Danson, and then Fares, moisture. Fares, moisture. And then Christopher, Chris has already voted. Let's check that. The next one is Silas, Facebook. And then Ibrahim, Facebook. And then Lona, moisture. Lona, moisture. And then, okay, Danson had already voted primary, so we'll just consider the primary. And then myself, I had picked moisture. And then, okay. So Lona, you already voted. So for moisture, we have four people. Forex, we have 1. And then Facebook, we have 2. So I think we go with the moisture. Part of the rule, Lona, was you select something that you had not proposed. So I think the vote has gone well, and we unanimously will support the moisture prediction. And if your proposal was not picked, 100% participation is still expected. And because we are all learning, and the objective is to deploy a production system. We're not building just a notebook model. We need to think through how will the users use this moisture. We need to think through, we are actually tasked to build something that can be used by an end user. And the end user in this case is the farmer. And remember, the farmer in this case, I gave an example where I did farming in Kajiado some time back, and fortunately for me, there was a borehole, but imagine a farmer without a borehole. They have to go quite a long distance to look for water, and they wouldn't know when to water. So they will go get the water, and then the assumption is they water every evening. And if they knew an idea of how the moisture content is, then they wouldn't waste that water. So we want to, we as a team, we need to be able to articulate the benefit and the value we are giving, and to who we are giving that value, and are we going to enable that user to use it within the resources they have. So that is the task ahead of us. Besides building a model, we need to see how we package this to the end user, that it can be used. So by the time we are doing a demo on the demo day is slotted for 26th. By the time we are doing that demo, the user can actually experience it. Yeah, we won't present the Jupyter notebook to the user. We'll enable the user to use it within the tools that they have. And all this is us guys to be tasked. We need to work our butts to make sure that this is done. All right. So the good news is we have a project. And the other good news is that the class is over. Unless someone has a question, I'll want to spend the next few minutes just to mention some of the action items that is going to happen before the next class. So I'll open the floor for questions. Silas, Lorna, Ibrahim, Danson. I think 2 guys have dropped off, one because of data and the other one has a meeting. Iko swali?
Mine is just a comment. I think I'm excited about this. I'm just excited to get my foot again in forecasting. So, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good to hear. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Silas, since this was your brainchild, the moisture manenos, what do you have to say?
In what sense? It's not like we have conquered the it's not like we have conquered the hill yet. So
Yeah, I feel you. We just started. Ni kama mtoto wenye amezaliwa. Unajua mtoto akizaliwa kuna sherehe mingi sana. But wale wenye wanalinda huyo mtoto ni wazazi. Sasa sisi ni wazazi na huyo mtoto ni wetu. So huyu mtoto lazima akuwe mature. Yeah? Akuwe mature na aende shule na asaidie watu huko nje. So that is the objective, and I think with the excitement that so far I see, even myself I'm excited, Donna. I believe we have all it takes to make sure that this actually comes to life. Yeah. One thing I didn't do, I didn't I didn't allow guys to introduce themselves. So quickly, before I state the action items, I would want you just to spend a minute, say who you are, what you do, your level of experience of machine learning, and your expectations out of this class. Just quickly, so that the other people can actually know. So start with Silas. Nitakulemea tu. We are almost done. Unajua, do you know Lorna? You don't know Lorna. Unajua Ibrahim? Haujui Ibrahim. So fungua roho. 1 minute.
Yani, you said, do you know Lorna?
You don't know Lorna. You don't know Ibrahim. You don't know Danson. Do you know Danson? Lazima tujuane. You know, moving forward from this point onwards, kwa WhatsApp group inafaa tuko tunafungua tu roho as in like brothers and sisters.
Okay.
I don't know if Lorna is available, but I'll assume she's not.
Hello. Hey.
We were told it's a team sport. Remember?
Yes, it is a team sport. Yes, Danson, go ahead. Danson, there's something you're saying.
Okay. I guess I wanted to introduce myself. Am I clear?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm Danson Minor, a 4th-year student at Multimedia University. MA Machine Learning. Okay, I guess I'm in the intermediate level because I followed the team up to where we are. Even the project of NLP, we are still together. Yeah, so I guess in terms of data science and ML and statistics, I'm at intermediate level. Yeah, thank you. So you can just call me Brother Danson.
Yes, Brother Danson. Yes, Brother Danson. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Silas, kwako sasa. Ushakunywa maji?
Si nimesema kwa chat.
Umesema kwa chat. Yaani kufungua roho hauwezi fungua na mic. Sawa basi. Niko mnono, najaribu kukua mkonde. Si hiyo imetosha. Sawa. So Silas is currently exercising. He's fat, now he's trying. His objective is to be slender like me. So I wish him all the best. With this corona, I really wish him all the best.
Anyway, guys, I work for IBM, which is very funny that I'm coming for a data science meetup because IBM guys are supposed to be data science leaders. But I want to go through the journey of actually getting my hands dirty. We have a lot of tools, and at times you stick data into tools and things just come out, and you're like, okay,
What happened?
It is, but what happened? But I wanted to open up the bonnet and look at the actual components, what they do, and literally try and explain certain challenges when people will face them. So it's a journey. How I got involved in this is that Ayub and some other crew of the AI beginners were looking for a location. So I used to provide for them a location last year. They were encouraging me to enter into data science, but I was like, not really. Until ikaniingia. Now, unfortunately, and my wife is telling me it's becoming an addiction.
I resonate with that. Let me know. Wacha nisifungue roho hapa, watu wanaweza kasirika. But I feel you.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, Silas. Lorna, over to you.
Hi, my name is Lorna. Just to Silas, I think that's more like a passion, because we were told what you do when you're not being forced not to do is actually what you're passionate about. It's an indicator. So just to tell you that. And yeah, so my name is Lorna. I work with Ayub. Yeah, and I'm constantly trying to, what I've learned about data science is there are so many new things you can learn, even despite the fact that maybe you've interacted with it before. There's always something new to learn, and data science is a team sport. So yeah, I'm excited about this.
Good stuff, Lorna. Karibu sana, Lorna.
Dave akiongea kitu kuhusu passion.
Really,
Angalia passion fruit kwanza, alafu anyway, no, sorry. It's no negative connotations to be taken out of that.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this, that we're going to move like with a team and learn from each other. Yeah, and I'm excited generally.
Karibu sana, Lorna. I'm also very excited about this, and let's see where this will take us. And one place that it needs to take us is the demo day. We have to show something we owe it to the people outside there that it can be done, and it has been done by us guys. All right? Good stuff. So Ibrahim, over to you.
So hey guys, I'm Ibrahim Abdi. So I currently work at Kenyan Wall Street. So yeah, and then I like to think of myself as a junior data scientist. So yeah, I'm really interested in going through this program and just interacting with you guys and trying to solve a real problem. Yeah.
Awesome.
I guess that's it.
All right. Great stuff, Ibrahim. And just to wrap it up, I want to appreciate your interest. And this thing you cannot learn, as Lorna says, we can't learn by ourselves. We need a team that we take in different perspectives, and we need to participate, all of us. And the little you know, just be open up and share. And if there is a big task ahead of us, you could take it upon yourself to go and research and come up with solutions. So it is upon us to hold each other's hand and deliver this solution as a team. So maximum participation is expected, and that is what I preach even in the other groups. Actionable items, the first thing I'm going to do is to create a WhatsApp group and add each one of us. So the total attendance for this class was 4, 6, 8 people. So 8 guys, some of them have dropped in and out because of network, but I'm going to add them. And after creating the WhatsApp group, I'll share this video recording so that if you missed some of the audio, you could actually follow through and be abreast on what was discussed. If you came in a bit late, find time and go through the video, because you might get 1 or 2 concepts earlier that would really help you gain ground on the agenda of this group. And then I'll also pull through some resources from the net that is going to help us prepare for the next class, because the next class, immediately our hand starts getting dirty. So the last thing, those are the 4th one now. The last thing is I'm going to reach out to Silas. So because Silas is has the data, reach out to Silas to make it available, and depending on now the terms of the data, we will make it available and discuss further. The objective is for us guys to learn and deliver a solution, okay? So those are the immediate 4 things I'm going to focus on. Create a group, share the video, get resources in terms of URLs, educational resources, and post it in the group. And then finally, make sure that we have the data where we can work with, all right? So that is what I'm going to do. And if I'm not able to do it, complete everything by today, please give me some time until tomorrow. I have crazy days, but I appreciate some of you normally give me a lot of pressure, and one of them is here, Silas. Silas gives me a lot of pressure, and it is positive pressure. So if I disappear, try and reach out. Naweza kuwa nimesahau a couple of things, so I take it positively. You reach out and tell me this is pending, and I get the same thing from the other groups. So watu wananiweka on the spot. So even you guys are allowed to put me on the spot, okay? This is your time. You need to get the maximum out of your time. If there is no any other word, then I'll call it a day. Thank you guys. Have a good evening. Cheers and stay safe, man. Stay safe. Cheers, guys, and bye.
Goodbye.
Cheers. Bye. Good evening.